What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Today I will be showing all of you how to make a beautiful regalia, orchestral Final Fantasy type beat that sounds a little something like this. Alright, so the first part of the melody that I laid down was a violin pattern using the spiccato violin from BBC Symphonic Orchestra. I've said it once and I'll say it again, BBC Symphonic Orchestra is probably the best orchestral VST out right now. You do have to be put on a 30-day waiting list, I believe it is, in order to get it for free, but I say it's well worth the wait. So I actually didn't make this melody, it's a MIDI from my guy Warheart, who is an insanely talented producer. I definitely recommend hitting him up for MIDIs and loops, but you better come when you're ready. Anyway, this is what the melody sounds like. So this melody is in the key of F minor, and the bass line is going from the 6 to the 7 to the 1 to the 3. Now these bass notes couldn't properly be played in the melody because with BBC Symphonic Orchestra, depending on which instrument you choose, there is an octave range limitation. So all I did was grab a bass string to play those notes. After I had those two laid out, yet again, I went with good old BBC Symphonic Orchestra to get a long drawn out violin for a lead. And this is what it sounds like. For this, there was really no method or madness when it comes to making the lead. All I did was play some notes on my MIDI keyboard until I found something that sounded pretty cool, and then I just added in these transition notes in between. Most importantly being these two transition notes at the end, which transition into the first part of the melody. If you've watched my tutorials before, you know I say this in probably every single one of my tutorials, but a great way to build resolution within your melodies is to create a transition from the end of the melody to the beginning. It just makes it sound like it's not just melody. It sounds kind of continuous. So I had to render out a couple of instances of BBC Symphonic Orchestra because for one reason or another, the actual VST is slightly offbeat. So I had to render it out and cut it a little bit. So this is what all the strings sound like together. After I had those strings down, I threw down a piano from Purity, being the first impression piano. And don't you dare hate on me for using the first impression piano. This piano is actually so goated, especially when it comes to leads like this. Now this piano lead is really what seals the whole deal for the melody. Without this, the melody really wouldn't be the same. Yet again, I did the same thing as that string melody. I just played some things on my MIDI keyboard until I found something that sounded good and then repeated it and made some changes. So this is the first little motif that I played that sounded good. And then instead of just copying it all the way through, I made some changes by changing up the top note of the melody. Using some repetition but following a structure in which something changes is a great way to build your top line melodies. Also with piano leads like this, I like to add in strum notes just because I love the flair it gives. After I had those keys laid out, I grabbed a brass from Venexi's 3K drum kit, just playing the bass notes, and this is what it sounds like. I grabbed this just to give the melody a little bit of low end as well as some orchestral variation. After that, I kind of went out of my way to make this melody super unique, and I added this bell. Now I don't think it's possible to put into words how masterful the execution of this bell is, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. You could interpret it as you wish, kind of like a Jackson Pollock painting. And the final aspect of the melody that I laid down is this sub bass from Serum. And there you have it. That's all the aspects of the melody. As you can tell, it's not super complicated. There's not a whole lot of aspects when it comes to the melody, but if you start off with a great basis and keep things simple and don't convolute it, it'll come out sounding great. So this is what the final melody sounds like. So that is going to pretty much cover how to make a, I still don't know how to say it, regalia melody. We'll leave it at that. Royal Ansem, you could come roast me in the comments if you want. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. Other than that, that's going to be it. Peace.